I just got done watching the second live stream teasing all of the upcoming content for SD Gundam G Generation Eternal, and there's a lot to unpackage here. What's up, everybody? Fortexfiend here, and welcome back yet to another video on SD Gundam G Generation Eternal. And we're gonna go ahead and just take a look at the slides and talk about the upcoming content. I am definitely super excited for this. I am leaving the link to the official live stream if you guys actually want to watch it. It is in Japanese, however, something that I appreciate that they did was the slides are actually in English. So then that way, unlike the last live stream, we don't have to Google Translate it, and you know, Google Translate gets a little goofy. But if you guys want to watch the official live stream, link is down below in the video description as well as the pinned comments. But this is gonna be the info about future scenarios and events. So you got a fierce enemy assault happening in July, as well as new main stages, which is more story content for Seed Destiny and Char's counterattack. We see the Thunderbolt there, a new event, which is a question mark in August, another story event, and then an event map event 2, and another story event tease for September. So this is going to be kind of like a visual roadmap of what's going to be happening. Next slide gives us some dates in regards to some of those events. So Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Destiny and Char's counterattack, which are going to be main stages, is going to be dropping very soon on the 30th of June. That's very exciting. And then afterwards, they've teased the dates right there for the upcoming story event, which is going to be December Sky, Sieg's Dion Hen, and Iron-Blooded Orphans Gecko. So we got one coming mid to late July, mid to late August, and mid to late September. Okay, so on the 30th, main stage, Seed Destiny is going to be coming. These are going to be some of the new development units that we are going to be able to develop. These are always awesome to have, especially the SSR ones, because these are units that are free. You could develop them. They're actually pretty useful, especially if you pair them up with really good pilots. So again, great for free to play and great for spenders too, because I actually enjoy using the development units. So we see Destiny Gundam there, Legend, Force, Impulse. These are some of the cool ones that we're going to be getting. And then these are the new pilots that are going to be coming with Seed Destiny: Shin Asuka, Alex, Stella, and Neo. So again, more recruitable pilots. They are SRs, but they have their uses. You know, always nice to see new things that we could use. And then we also have another main stage coming on top of that on the 30th, which is Char's counterattack. So a lot of content for us to do. I'm excited more for this one because Char is one of my most favorite characters, and I absolutely loved the special movie that they did for Char's counterattack. This is going to be some of the new development units that we can get. We got Nightingale, we got High New Gundam, we got new Gundam mass production type. So that's very, very cool that we're going to get more development units. And then in terms of new pilots, we got Amuro Ray, the seasoned Amuro Ray, where his new type abilities are more developed. He's more mature, definitely very cool. We got Chan, we got Hathaway, and Quest. Afterwards, we got that event coming, the story event for Thunderbolt December Sky. This is going to be the new units that we're going to be getting with that. Some of the ones that I really like to see are Psycho Zaku. I'm very excited for that. That is a super cool design, as well as the Zaku 2 and the Rick Dom. And in terms of pilots for the story event, we got Io Fleming and Daryl Lawrence. And then afterwards, we have another story event that they teased. This one starting from mid to late August. This is going to be the Gaiden Sieg's Dion Hen. So these are going to be the units that we could get from this. That looks really cool. That Priest gun tank looks hilarious. Like, this legit reminds me of like a little bit of like, the Kirby character Meta Knight alongside with a little Final Fantasy flair. I love the designs for these, and I'm very excited to be able to get this one in particular because of these really, really cool designs. And I love how they implement some wacky designs, or some designs that are not necessarily like the more mature Gundam types, and which is, makes things more interesting for us to enjoy this game. And then we're going to get another story event from mid to late September. So a lot of you Iron-Blooded Orphan fans are going to be very excited for this. These are going to be some of the new development units that we're going to be getting, which is Gundam Astaroth. So we're getting another one of that. And then Hakuri Rodi, which is a pretty cool design there. I like the axe on that one. And then we have the upcoming Fierce Enemy Assault, which is going to be dropping at the same time as Char's counterattack and Seed Destiny main stages. So again, tons of content to do just right around the corner. This one features Destiny Impulse and full armor Hyakushiki Kai. I'm more excited for that Hyakushiki Kai because I love the design of the Hyakushiki. Destiny Impulse is cool too, but I really like the more old school designs. Really, really appreciate that. And then they have other scheduled events. So this is likely going to be coincided with like a banner that is not necessarily like following the story that they've teased or the story events. For example, the map event 1 had Gundam Wing, like we called it. So we're going to be getting a new event, Generation Tower. This is something we were asking about For those of you that have played other gachas that have like a tower event, essentially, there's these stages you got to go through. There's going to be like an opposing team or like an opposing boss you got to face that has like a specific power. Sometimes the stages might have like certain stipulations, like for example, use only units from like Mobile Suit Gundam, or use units only from, you know, Double O's, things like that. I'm very excited for this. I do hope the frequency for the tower events is going to be, you know, fairly frequent, so then it gives us something to always do. And then we have another map event volume 2. Your guess is as good as mine as to what that's gonna contain. We're all crossing our fingers for G Gundam because, you know, we're very excited to finally hopefully see some G Gundam content. So you never know with these particular ones that they've teased right over here. And then we have another map out of the events coming out. This time it actually has the Generation Tower East on there as the, from, you know, instead of the question mark event. So this is going to be what we're going to be expecting at least for the next 3 months. Who knows if there's going to be other things that they throw in between. For example, there's no mention of a Master League, but we know there should be at least a Master League Season 2 coming out within the next 3 months, even maybe a Season 3. So hopefully we get to see that, which I'm pretty sure they're going to be dropping that. Okay, we also have some new units that they've teased for like banner units in terms of URs. These are going to be the ones that are going to be arriving on the 30th. So we got the Hainu Gundam EX with Amuro Rei, and we got the Force Impulse Gundam with Shin Asuka. They actually did tease the animations for this in the live stream. And again, I highly encourage you guys to watch the live stream, or if you just want to see this, the animations for this, they're very, very cool. I'm curious as to what roles they're going to be fulfilling. I wonder if Amuro is going to be an attacker. I think he might be an attacker, seeing as the new Gundam that we currently have in the gacha is a support. And then this Force Impulse Gundam, maybe a defender or perhaps another attacker, but your guess is as good as mine. Let me know what you guys think, what roles that these new units that we're going to be getting in the banners are going to be fulfilling. I want to know what you guys think of these two, but they look really, really cool. I'm definitely more excited for the Hainu Gundam. All right, and then we're going to be talking a little bit about some implementations that they did. So this is something that they've talked about where they made the changes to Master League. I talked about this on my last video that I absolutely love what they did. They actually catered it more to free-to-play players, because now we're seeing more free-to-play players reach that 150k to get the actual, you know, maximum amount of rewards. They did add a challenge mode for those of you that are more high spenders that want to get that bragging right title, because I know that shiny little title, you know, is important for some of you, especially for those of you that spend on the game. But I love the changes that they did. Very, very good that they're listening to feedback. I really do hope that they, you know, continue with the surveys, because it actually does help with the game. It helps improve it, and they actually are, it looks like they're serious about taking into consideration all the feedback we've been giving to improve the game. Again, another response to user feedback. So this is going to be stuff that's going to be implemented with the new story events. So the ones like, for example, Thunderbolt, you know, December Sky. So in addition, feature to skip rare bosses after meeting certain conditions. So every time the rare boss is unlocked, once you've already fulfilled the conditions, you don't actually need to just go into the battle and watch everything. You could skip it, which is nice. They're going to be adjusting the layout of the metal supplier exchange animation and also the display speed. That's cool. So then we can actually see things just pop up, you know, much faster instead of having to wait for everything. You know, even with the redeem of like, what is it, like the maximum of like 100, sometimes watching the you know, it's like we could save some time rather than just watching that, right? And then addition of the feature to filter by event bonus when forming squads. That's very, very useful. So that way it'll be easier for us to, you know, party build and find the units that actually have those bonuses where we could get more drops from these story events. And then the initial number of skips changed to 1 in normal event stages. I love this because I never understood why if you go to skip the normal difficulty event stages, it has like the maximum amount coinciding with, you know, whatever your stamina is or your AP is. And sometimes if you're not paying attention, you do that and you're like, oh wait, where'd all my stamina go? So that's good that they changed that to 1. I think that's very, very good, especially for convenience. So that way, you know, we could strategize how much AP we're spending and we're not just spending it all at once by accident. So further details such as adjustment details will be announced in the in-game notice. So there might be more, but this is the ones that they took into consideration that they want to share on the live stream. Next is really, really cool. So they added a new feature, BGM configuration settings. So now we could set like BGMs for particular characters that are piloting units. Hopefully they add more tracks, but that's really, really cool because when this game first came out, I felt like the tracks sounded very generic. And then they started slowly adding some tracks from like the respective series. that's awesome that they're finally doing this. So maybe we'll get to hear like, you know, an instrumental version of like Just Communication or some of the other really cool songs from the Gundam series. And then about in-game features, this is going to be a way for us to manage the downloads function because, you know, as this game progresses, as this game gets more content, the size of the game that it takes up on your device can get really overwhelming. So if you're playing this on your device and you're starting to see that a lot of space is being used, you could go into the menu, the configuration, into the system, you could turn certain things off, and you can also free up space for like animations from like specific units if you don't care for them or you don't want to see them. This is really, really cool. So that way you can continue playing and not worry about having it take up way too much room, especially for those of us that play other gacha games on our devices. And then more about the game's features. So they recently did a Bandai ID linking. So they're encouraging us to link the account with Bandai Namco ID. So that way it prevents account loss. And they actually gave more diamonds that we can earn just for doing this. I think they gave us like 2,500. Like I saw that last night when I logged in. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. I mean, it incentivizes us to link the accounts. Now, I hope that they fixed the issues with Bandai Namco IDs, because I know that this was a big thing that a lot of people were complaining about, like they had issues linking Bandai Namco IDs. So hopefully with this, it actually fixed whatever issue that was. But let me know in the comment section below if that actually was fixed for those of you that are still having a hard time with this. But hey, they're giving us diamonds just for doing this. So I think that's really awesome. And then we're going to get a campaign for G-Quux. Now, upon the making of this video, I already saw that they gave us a free pilot. While the character that they gave wasn't necessarily the most exciting, and we would have rather had seen like a mobile suit being given out, the pilot in a nutshell is actually really good, and I'll have a separate video for that. But this campaign likely is probably celebrating the recent episode, and hopefully we'll get some cool goodies on top of it. I'm looking forward to it. I thought that the last few episodes of G-Quux were definitely a lot more interesting. So it's really cool that they're doing a campaign to celebrate that. And then finally, the last slide talks about the new series countdown campaign. So we have like, you know, just right around the corner a few days before the new content drops. And for that, they're going to be giving us some AP packs, which is always awesome. I'm stacked on AP right now because I've done almost everything on both of my accounts. But we're going to be getting more. And then on the final day, we're going to be getting some diamonds. But this is definitely exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing all of this content drop on top of whatever content that they have planned. I do hope that they continue to implement more improvements to the game. One thing that I really hope that they implement is what they talked about, giving more diamonds from the main stages. That would be really nice to see on the 30th when we get the Seed Destiny and the Char's Counterattack main stages, for the actual diamonds that you get to be increased, because they did address that, because that was one of the biggest concerns, is the diamond economy for this game. So I'm hoping to see that, and I'm hoping to see more improvements. And all in all, I'm very excited. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys are excited for. Let me know what you guys want to see more of. Let me know what improvements you want to see them continuously make for this game, because so far they've been listening and it's been great, and I'm definitely excited to see the future of this game. Thank you guys again for watching. Stay tuned for the next video, and stay blessed, everybody.